What is the one piece of kit from AliExpress that you would trust your life with on the field? That is the question that I asked my Discord members, link down below. And the one thing that came up the most genuinely surprised me. And I think it will surprise you too. So, 14 people, 3 categories, and one piece of kit that most of you should be using, but I guess a lot of you underestimate, me included. I threw all of that in with my own experience and put it into a nice little metaphorical boiling pot, and let's get into it. Now, quick heads up before I actually get into this video. Please, if you have any differential experience or opinion on everything that is mentioned here, leave it down below in the comments, because that will help most people looking for answers more than this video on its own will ever be. Anyways, let's talk gear. Let's start with lights, because that is the category where almost nobody got burned. Now, the TLDR for lights is basically go with Watson and FMA. These two brands cover most of the lights that you'd ever want on your kit or guns, so you should be fine by checking out these brands. Starting out with the Watson M600 dual fuel, a Surefire replica. These have worked very, very well according to multiple people. Same with the strobes from FMA, which I actually have as well. I don't know if you can hear that, but I also have a FMA strobe. With those strobes, the battery needs to be replaced every couple months, like 6 months or so, so no problem there. The Sidewinder stock from Watson works well too. However, the IR light is a little bit more on the weaker side. But if you can afford night vision where you need IR light, buying a better IR lamp shouldn't be a problem for you. Then there's the Raid X, a laser box, where the cable port failed right out of the box. That's not a fluke, that's just genuinely a mistake on the quality control side of things. But one thing to keep in mind with replica lights is that whatever they say the lumen amounts is, subtract like 20 to 30%, and then that's the actual power output that you'll get with replica lights. That's just something that you metaphorically have to pay for when you save a lot of money on a tactical light. But here's the thing that I didn't expect. A lot of people that use the SNS Precision Surefire mount, such like I do, reported fitment issues on their arc rails, which I had myself as well. So I guess this isn't just a failure problem with the one product that I had, but with many. But there's an easy fix for that. Either you shim it down, or you put some tape on it to reduce that wiggling / loose mounting. Pretty simple, costs basically nothing, and you still get that cool little helmet light. And since we're already talking helmet lights, here's my pick. I like the Princeton Tech replicas because they're pretty cheap, between 20 to 30 bucks, depending on if you buy one that's barely functional and one that actually has, the logo and looks like a one-to-one replica. And they come in many different color beam options. So for example, I run a red and IR light, but there's also red white IR or white IR or white red or green or blue, whatever. This is pretty nice because whatever your use case is, you can make a setup specifically for that. And if you're wondering, hey, where's your white light? Well, you're happy now? Not to go off on too much of a side tangent here, but the reason behind this is if I need red or IR light, I want a low light visibility. But if I need white light, I need it to be bright and reach far. And that is why I used the Surefire replica on my helmet. And another cool feature of the Princeton Techs is just that they sit so low on the arc rail or on your helmet, which is pretty nice because you don't add a lot of bulk and I guess silhouette to your helmet, whilst adding more capabilities for cheap. Now, optics is where you actually need to read the reviews and look into what you're buying. But if you want to TLDR again, I would definitely recommend Holy Warrior and Vector Optics, because these brands are like a no-brainer. You can just click buy and be fine. But let's actually get into the details here. My Discord members swear by the Holy Warrior EOTech replicas for a reason. Multiple people landed on it independently without any correlation, and they report all the same things: good brightness, good dot quality, and just overall good function. Now, one user reported slight ghosting in the NV modus, so if you use night vision with your Holy Warrior XP, keep that in mind, but overall it's pretty fine, even on gas blowback rifles, which you would expect for a $120 optic. Now, one thing to keep in mind with EOTech replicas, if you buy cheap replicas, yes, even the ones for 60 bucks, you will get terrible performance in daylight, because for whatever reason, all cheap EOTech replicas have terrible brightness. I speak from experience, I had one myself, and if the sun just slightly comes out, the dot is barely visible. And I don't mean, oh, I can still somewhat see it. I mean, if you look in too bright of a corner, you have no dot in your window anymore. Genuinely. And that is why I'm more of a fan of the aimpoint style replicas, such as this one, simply because they get way brighter. But where do you buy those? Well, Vector Optics has you covered. No matter if you want to buy red dots like the Maverick Free or LPBOs, Vector Optics offers great optics, the name implies, for a really great price. Now, I've handled Vector Optics red dots all the way up to Vector Optics LPVOs, and I have to say, I really like them, and my next LPVO will definitely be from there. Now, further speaking on the Maverick Gen 3, it survived hits against the wall. I guess the user was running around or something and couldn't walk, without losing zero or any kind of problem with the dots or anything else. But they do burn through the CR2032 batteries a lot, so that's something to keep in mind. But that is a problem that basically all replica red dots have. But there's an easy fix for that. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm a big advocate for carrying extra batteries on your kit. I definitely recommend keeping a spare change of replacement batteries for every single electronic device on your kit. That way, if you run out of batteries, even mid-game, which I had happened to me with my red dot, you can immediately swap it out and hop back into the action. Now, moving from something that helps you see the enemy better to something that doesn't help you with anything at all, other than looking good, the small UK shop called Sovereign Design UK. That's right, ad section. Now, I'm not sponsored by Sovereign Design UK by any means, but they do send me their patches, and I have to say I really like them. So if you're looking for any kind of cool patches or apparel for your kit, I will definitely recommend checking out the store, linked down below. And with the code blauling_10, you can save 10% at checkout, as long as the checkout is worth over 13 bucks. Anyways, let's talk about gear again. Now, one more thing I want to mention before we end the optic section, optic risers. Take a wild guess where these optic and magnifier mounts are from. Yeah, AliExpress. Now, is my T2 riser off color? Yes, because I cheaped out on the cheapest possible version. But what I'm trying to say is that CNC machining stays the same no matter what country you're in. US, China, Philippines, doesn't matter. The tolerances are the same. So you should be good to go with just buying optics risers off of AliExpress for like 10 bucks or less for your EOTech, Aimpoint, whatever. And I will do a separate video on risers, but I have to say, especially for airsoft, and if you're tall like me, risers help. Comms is a topic where I want to actually defend the products a little, because I can guarantee you 70% of the time, it's not the product's fault that your comm setup doesn't work, but actually your fault. Yes, you. Yeah, I'm talking about specifically you, not just the average viewer. Yes, you. So if your comm setup with a radio, PTT, and headset isn't working, before you blame the PTT, actually check what stuff you need, because there are different wiring options for PTTs. Is it amplified or unamplified? And is it military wiring or civilian wiring? Even if it has the same U94 plug. If a mismatch between either of those categories happens between the headset and the PTT, your setup just will not work. And then obviously there's the problem with setting up your radio and the frequencies and the channels right. But if you want a video on that specifically, where I talk about why my radio is the best one for that, check out the link up here. Now, antennas off of AliExpress are basically good to go, because if you don't know how antennas work, they're basically just pieces of metal with a silicone mold around them. So any Abri or any other antennas that you want to buy off AliExpress are probably fine if the reviews say so. These cheap speaker PTTs are also fine. Trust me, I have had plenty of experience with them, and I can say that they work fine too. TechSky, if you don't know, is a company that makes Peltor replicas and also fitting PTTs. And their PTTs work fine for some people, while one person on my Discord reported that the Y cable broke. However, other people reported that they work just fine. So I guess it's just one single product that was faulty in terms of quality control. But overall, TechSky should be fine. Same with Earmore. However, there's again a subjective thing about Earmore, I guess, because some people swear by Earmores, whilst others completely hate the headsets and stuff. However, I have to say I have a PTT from Earmore for my FMA amps, because these are mill-wired and amplified, like the FMA amps, and they work fine. Overall, comms in EarPro is a really subjective topic, but if you want to know my take on the FMA amps, check the video out up here, or link down below. And funny enough, there's one piece of kit that everybody agrees on my Discord, which is the Razor Walker ear protection. Cheap? Yes. Ears protected? Yeah. The audio? No. And like one of my mods actually put it, there's no reason why nobody used them in Tarkov, and that reason probably also translates to real life. The audio is just bad in terms of spatial hearing and overall just audio amplification. But to sum this up and give you the brands that you should look for, TechSky, FMA, and Watson. And obviously Evo. But TechSky makes good U94 style PTTs, FMA makes specifically the V60 PTT for the FMA amps, and Watson makes several different wiring types of the PTTs, so military wired, civilian wired, amplified, unamplified, whatever plug you need for your radio. Pretty cool. However, I do not have any experience with Watson PTTs, so if you have any experience you can add there, please leave it down below. Bonus round. The cheapest things that actually matter. The one thing that everybody basically mentioned and said it changed their life basically was the anti-fog units off of AliExpress for like 10 bucks. And I can see why. Your 100 euro optic is useless if you can't see through it because your lenses are fogged up. So an anti-fog unit is really useful. And with everybody telling me how great they are, even for this cheap price, they're definitely on my list for the next purchase. Another thing that you can buy are these cheap V lights or other kind of IFF lights to help you ID friendly from foe. And they also just look cool and add a little bit more of a vibe or spice to your kit. And it costs like 10 bucks again. So if you've been listening along with this video, you now know that a $8 box fan is worth more in terms of performance than a 100 euro optic. Hold up, give me a second. Yeah, so that is all the information I have for you today. If you have anything else you want to add to this, or maybe something that you disagree with, or something that I got wrong, please let me know down in the comments, because again, that is how these videos actually help people more. And if you want to join my Discord for gear questions or helping in the next videos with your own opinion and experience, the link is down below. And until we see each other next time, LARP.